And then we are... Awesome. Okay, my support crew on the back end, can you guys hear me loud and clear? Okay, awesome. We are live. Welcome everybody for joining us live this morning. We are streaming live on LinkedIn and StreamYard. Trevor is also on LinkedIn and our YouTube channel. So today we are talking about the most important thing going into 2025. The 3 most important budget items for qualified lead in 2025 and how you can have amazing pipeline. This is the 3rd month that we are running this webinar, and we will be doing this every single month going to January 2025, which I'll share a little bit at the end what we're going to be talking about. But join with me today. I have MJ. And let me welcome him into our stage. How can I have a side by side? Okay, MJ right here. No, this one better layout. Okay, there we go, MJ. So give us a quick introduction about yourself.
All right. Well, first of all, I wanted to say I appreciate the opportunity to jump on the webinar with you and the rest of the franchise film family. My name is MJ, Matthew Jonas, but everyone calls me MJ in the franchising world. TopFire Media is a full-service digital media, public relations, web development, and hyper-local franchisee agency. Over the last 7 years, we've been voted as one of the top franchise marketing agencies in our industry, and we're very proud of that. We currently work with over 125 brands on their Fran Dev marketing and lead generation. We develop anywhere between probably 60 to 70 franchise development websites on a yearly basis. We are a sister company of iFranchise Group, and we're definitely excited today about talking about franchise development marketing, some really high-level best practices and how to help optimize folks' franchise brands' marketing budgets going into the new year.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. A quick introduction about myself. All of you sign up through our email that we sent out. I assume half of you know me already, but if you haven't, this is a quick introduction. I am the key salesperson and development person, but also the content person, front-facing person for our little startup at Franchise Filming. Franchise Filming is the turnkey video production company that helps franchise brands to tell your story through video. We are now working with over 90 franchise brands, and today we are really excited to talk about this very important topic. We have actually the most number registrant we ever had in the history, and I think it's because this is the time of the year everybody is planning for budget and thinking about 2025. So I met MJ maybe sometime last year, and he said in one of his presentations, he came with so much experience, and I was truly fascinated by how much value he brings into the franchising industry. And I thought, let's have him on my set and have a conversation about how we can help these franchise development folks to nail it and fill up their pipeline going into 2025. So let's get started already. So today you are in it for a treat. We are going to talk a little bit about the quality, definition of quality leads. And there's a question I get a lot. When you put more money in ads, does that mean more leads? And then we'll talk about the key trend going into 2025 for franchise marketing. and top 3 budget item that you must have in 2025. And really, that's why you're here today. And then we'll talk about, for those that are with smaller budget, how can you make use with what you have? And then we'll take a little live Q&A towards the end. We will really be just chatting with me and MJ today. So feel free to take notes along the way, ask any questions that you may have, and we'll find window or opportunity to fill in those questions along the way. And if not, we'll have that towards the end of the session. I know we have a lot to talk about today. So I'm going to dive straight in with Matt and then put it back on our layout. Okay, there we go. So MJ, tell us about what defines a good lead.
Well, what defines a good lead is ultimately we talk about outcomes and results, right? As a franchise development marketing agency, everything we do is based around how our clients' franchise sales teams can move their leads through the 8 steps of the sales process. So typically what we define as a quality lead is a lead that ultimately a franchise sales person can actually have a conversation, right? It's not just the initial, fill out the form, that's the lead, right? That's a form fill out. So what we define as a qualified lead is someone actually who a franchise sales rep can actually talk about the brand. Typically that's around stage 3 or 4 is what we look at as a qualified lead, right? Typically lead comes in, first step, they send out an initial email. Typically it's a downloadable piece of content or a lead magnet by our best practice. There's typically a text message that goes out to the lead saying that your franchise consultant is going to be in touch with you soon. Typically the third step is then a lead that comes out of their CRM that talks more about the consumer brand, gets them excited. And then typically that fourth touch point is the franchise salesperson reaching out and actually talking to them. Typically for TopFire Media, our minimum threshold is right around 40 to 50% contact rate. And that's been generally that number the last 5 or 6 years based on our franchise development marketing strategies.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think a lot of different brands might have a different definition of quality of a lead. At what point do you decide that it should go into the funnel after the first step? So that really leave it to you guys. And I want to go talk about the second piece here. We see a huge raise in pay ads over the years, and FriendDev is really catching up with that, right? Traditionally, marketing and consumer marketing do a lot of those stuff. What are your thoughts about pay ads on social to drive leads for franchise development? And has there been any success so far for your clients?
Yeah, definitely. So, give you an example. We work with a brand called Bojangles. Our average cost of a lead currently right now is $11.22, and a little over $36 is a qualified lead, which means that financially they have met the threshold of what they're looking for in an investment standpoint. So at TopFire, we've been blessed over the last 8 years. We started to build a proprietary lookalike audience. It's comprised of over 200,000 multi-unit franchisees and single unit operators. So what we get to do and have the privilege to do is upload our proprietary database into our clients' MCC accounts on Google and then our client's Facebook Business Manager account. And essentially, we then leverage the AI and leverage the algorithm to go hunt down profiles that meet the criteria within what our clients are looking for in a franchise buyer and within the geo that they're looking to sell franchises within. And that has been something that has helped our clients over the last, 8 years. And for us, it's a reversible and formula of mathematical equations that we start off with basically what the acquisition cost is. As we all know, it's probably hovers between $12,000 to $15,000, which is based on really the quality of your franchise development website. Can it convert 5 points or higher? The quality of your franchise marketing material that you're nurturing, dripping on throughout the process, your investment level. Now, if you're talking $700,000-$800,000 or more, your cost of acquisition will be on the higher side. But if you have a franchise initial, item 7 that it's less than $200,000 or $300,000, you're probably looking closer to that $10,000 to $12,000.
Right.
And then you got to look at validation. Validation plays a huge role, and validation is not just about franchisee success stories anymore. It is now becoming more evident through the data and through the feedback that we're receiving it from the franchisees and prospects. Is they're looking at the brand's consumer facing website. They're looking at their social media channels. No longer can you have a social media campaign that just has a bunch of posts and maybe a few likes. Franchise buyers are looking for engagements. They're looking for the success of a business model. So it's really, really important that you have a very evolved consumer-facing website that looks like a site that could be used to generate new business, put butts in the seats, as we call it. It also positions the brand. And then, obviously, from a friend dev standpoint, validation plays a big role in having successful franchisee. Your FDD is your permanent kind of record from franchisee successes and what your AUV is. That plays a big role. And then we look at the quality of your franchise sales, the experience of your sales team. Not all franchise salespeople are created equal, right? Yeah. There are franchisee sales folks that have a tough time overcoming some basic objections. And then there's others that sell 20 packs at will. So from a franchisor, looking at the quality and experience of your franchise sales team plays a big role in your growth. And I think that's something that needs to be looked at further in the industry as well. But that's how we look at that. And then we know, based on, our data over the last, 10, 12 years, that the average cost of a lead, should hover for TopFire Media in that probably $60 to $70 range. I know we were all just at the Atlanta conference for the FLDC, and they came out, the average lead is $271, which I almost fell out of my seat, because we average for our clients anywhere between $53 and $68, depending again on investment. This includes our big client, our big investment clients like Walk-Ons, Perkins, and Bojangles, and all our home services as well. And it becomes down to the experience of our strategist, right? We understand what buyers are looking for. I think we also understand, we're going to talk a little bit about franchise development websites and best practices and how to convert the message out there. But you really, the lookalike audience, and a lot of brands ask, well, we don't have that. What can we do? And I think it's one of these, I think it's a good takeaway for most of the brands on the call, is that if you have a database of franchisees, a database of prospects, you technically have a very small, but you do have a lookalike audience you can start to leverage. And leverage the algorithm and AI. So I think that's really important for the attendees today to kind of take that away and talk to their internal teams standpoint.
Thank you, MJ. That's a really elaborate answer, but I want to dive deep a little bit in terms of, we were talking about 10 to 12K per deal, $60 average per lead, right? So based on the 120, 50 clients that you support, on average, the 12,000 per deal that comes in, where do they put their money? Like so 12K, where would these leads be coming from? Is it digital mainly, magazines, broker?
Yeah, so for us, mainly it's digital. So now our sister company, iFranchise Group, when we have shared clients with them, they will do some formation work for them. They'll develop a franchise development marketing brochure. They'll develop a franchise marketing plan for them, and we implement the digital side of it. So the numbers I have are based on all of the digital data that we have. So when we work with, say, like a brand like Perkins, which is about a $3.5 million investment, our average acquisition cost for them is a little under $6,000. This is a client that's been with us for over 3 years. We've honed in with their franchise sales team on what the brand equity is, what separates them in the marketplace, and what their trump cards are. What are the wins? Why are the whys? Why are people filling out the form? Why are people going through the 8 steps? We pull that from their sales team to put that into messaging from both content on the website and into ABC testing, both from static ads and video ads as well. The question you said earlier was, where are the deals coming from? For TopFire, we're blessed by having built this lookalike audience over the last 8 years. We know that, again, 2023 is the last set of data that we have for this, is that we know over 42% of all the deals that came out of our portfolio of 125 plus brands came out of Facebook. We also know that a little over 44% of every deal that came in, it came in through a video ad, either a founder video, a B-roll video, or a successful franchisee video talking about how much they love the support they were given, the marketing opportunity, and just the support that they received. So we know that videos play a huge role in, one, attracting brands, but also it's a part of that conversion technique, right? It's about not only having a lead magnet and downloadable content, but you need to also have a video. And really, and you know this too, Claudia, within the first 8 to 12 seconds is the magical time frame. That's when someone's either going to hit, push to fill out their information, or they're going to skip it and go to the next opportunity.
You're so nice. I give it a 6 second. No, but yeah. So did you just mention 80% of the leads coming from Facebook and 44% of those are from video?
So I didn't say 8%. I said over 42% of all the deals that came for all of our clients that we tracked in 2023 came
42.
from Facebook.
Right.
And over 44% started with a video ad.
Right. Okay. And so I was actually going to go into talking a little bit about static image versus video, because you guys do digital too. Like, do you see the difference when an ad plays as just a picture versus a video?
See, for us, every brand is different. Every brand has a different story. Some of our concepts have tremendous food and visual food, so static ads play a big role. Some are, in our senior care, they have more of the caretaker, so we need video from them. We have, some of the home services where they want to see the work being done and what it looks like. And so video plays a big role. So every story has to go through its unique understanding. We call it an onboarding process, is to truly understand what makes the brand, right? Why have they grown? Why have they been successful? What are the franchisees having to say too? One of the biggest things we ask is to do a survey, just a very simple one, to go out and ask their existing franchisees, what are the 3 whys that they first engaged with the brand? And then what got them to the point where they actually wanted to have a call or a meeting with their franchise sales team? That insight is invaluable in how we develop strategy, not only just from a digital franchise marketing strategy. It goes into, on a monthly franchise sales call from a franchise development website, how the algorithm is looking at it, and how, it's kind of like the law of attraction is essentially how I explain SEO and the search engine. The more information you put out there in the universe, the more it comes back. It's no different for SEO and content. So a big part of that information has to come back through it. Video needs to be applied not only for the front end of the actual lead gen and conversion, but it also has to be part of that nurturing campaign. Yeah. It also has to live on your site on different pages, right? It's not always about the founder. Most of the folks that I talk to when I go out to the multi-unit conference, the bigger franchisees, they're looking at websites. They want to see the executive team. They want to know who their restaurant guy is, who their chief chef is. They want to know who the real estate. They want to know the marketing. That's who they're investing into. It's not necessarily always the brand president or CEO or founder. It's that executive team that they want to know who they're working with and what their experience is and what they've done in their past to help, other multi-unit or franchisees be successful.
Awesome. So while we're on the topic of video, I'll just share with you some stats that I was just reading over the last couple of months. Have you guys noticed a huge increase on pushing video content on LinkedIn lately, right? And I think all of us can really tell why video has such an impactful space in today's world when it comes to sales, community engagement, client, pushing ads and whatsoever, because video is just the easiest way to get a message across, right? So here is what it says. Video ads can generate 6 times more engagement than image ads, and they drive 30% more clicks and 62% more likes and comment, and 26% more likely to be remembered by the audience. So 95% of people remember what they watch in a video compared to what they read from an ad, right? That, the effectiveness is there. So I like that you talked about that. And I like that you talked about in terms of the drip campaign, like how are we dripping our client or the prospective franchisee in terms of learning about the opportunity. Gone were the days where you attach a 5-page PDF or like a 20-page PowerPoint in an email and expect people to read anything. I don't read anything, right? So
Yeah.
we really advise our client to have bite-sized content that talks about your value proposition and have a bit and a little bit to educate them in every step of the sales cycle. So we work with a lot of our clients in terms of creating content like brand story video, value propositions video, founder video, like you just mentioned, MJ over here. But also a lot of video that helps with addressing fear, addressing uncertainty, unsure about if this is a need for me, can I do this? So building video content to really help to address this fear and unsure so that they can put their walls down and willing to have this conversation with you.
Yep.
Every step of the sales cycle has really shown a lot of success with the franchisor that we help with.
Yeah. I mean, the one other piece of video too that I've seen, and I get this feedback because, we work with so many different franchise sales teams. It's that second text message that goes out, right, as part of the best practice from a franchise sales standpoint. It's that when the text goes out, they typically, and what we've heard a lot of great feedback is that they're actually sending out a video of either the founder video, a day in the life of a franchisee. The biggest part is what happens is when they send that second text out, when they make that call at the fourth step, they're like, oh, I know that phone call. Because, everyone during the political world and season, everyone was getting phone calls left and right. And it was very difficult to understand, was this someone I'm supposed to be talking to? Is this a brand that's calling me? And so doing that video made it obviously the jump in contact rate went up from when you include a video in that second contact.
And what is the most important thing that does? It builds familiarity.
Yeah.
When people know you, they are more willing to have this conversation. Why do you think I'm on LinkedIn all day? Right? Like really having this video, like we are doing this because that's what it's worth. So thank you. I am so passionate about this topic. We can go on and on about it. But I want to wrap it up and talk about, does more ads budget equals more quality leads?
It does not. And what we mean by that, or what I mean by that is, just because you increase your budget doesn't mean necessarily you're going to increase your number of leads, right? And the reason I say that is, again, I go back to our data sets. We know the average cost of a lead on Facebook is going to be anywhere probably between $45 and $55 a lead based on our lookalike audience. We know on Google, it's going to be anywhere between $118, probably $126 per lead. Now, and I add a little caveat to that. That is based on your franchise development website having a very high Google quality score and domain strength. If you do not have a franchise, development website that has really good rankings, your cost of a lead on Google, which some of my competitors have, are close to $200 to $225. And we know right now the average cost of a lead on LinkedIn is over $300. Closer to $330 in our last data poll. So you start to look at this, just because you increase your budget doesn't mean necessarily you're going to get more leads. It really depends. Again, you got to understand franchise marketing, franchise development marketing. You got to put your information a little bit everywhere, right? And then you got to hone in on outcomes and results, on the quality of the lead, where they're moving up through the sales process. So, and then you got to understand kind of that formula, reverse engineering of mathematical equations. Acquisition cost multiplied by your franchise growth goal typically gives you a yearly digital advertising budget, right? Divided by 12. And then you have to understand where you're getting your best quality leads. That's why doing, when we look at new brands, established in legacy, we're scraping the keywords of their competitors' websites to get a good understanding of what their competitors are doing. So either we can look at that track of that direction that they're taking and why they're using keywords and where the quality fits within our system and our tool set, or we might find keywords that, hey, they're spending a lot of dollars on these keywords and ad sets, and they're not driving engagements, and ultimately they're losing impression share based on their Google quality score. So it does not necessarily mean that, but what we know when we start looking at Facebook, you know, typically you look at an $8,000 to $12,000 monthly budget. We divide it typically in that $50 to $60 range. And that is a quantifiable number that we know that we can hit on a monthly basis from
Right.
a Facebook campaign. And then Google, now, if you got a really good Google quality score, you could get Google leads down into the $70 and $80 range. Google is just a bigger playground, right? It's bigger than Facebook. It's actually almost 4 times size of Facebook.
Yeah.
And Google just has a bigger appetite, right? But you could burn through money very quickly if you don't have someone who actually is managing it on a day-to-day basis and is looking for negative keywords and looking for opportunities on some of the subset keywords.
Sounds good. Yeah. So my take on that is also really more budget doesn't necessarily mean more quality leads, right? You really got to think about the asset that you put out. You can have a great, beautiful image, but it's not connecting with your audience, then you don't get form fill up. It's the same with your website. It's the same with your drip campaign. If the messaging doesn't really connect and make it easy for your audience to want to connect and want to learn more about it, it's just not going to be worthwhile. I actually just sent an email today because I get targeted with the same franchise brand and 5 different static image positioned differently about their concept. And I'm like, if you are taking the easy way out to execute this ad campaign, why don't you just take a little bit more extra, film some video? That's going to drive so much more engagement and make it so much easier for you to get leads and interest for people to want to show up and learn about your opportunity too.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the interest of time, we're going really fast, and I want to go into the main reason why people are here today to talk to us, right? What are the top 3 items that you need to plan in your budget for 2025 in order to get fantastic lead to build up your friend dev pipeline? What is the first one you have in mind, MJ?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you talk about franchise marketing budget, you talk about leads, you talk about qualified leads, you have to start with the foundation, which is a franchise development website.
Yeah.
Your franchise development website is your gateway to the world. And your franchise development website needs to be able to be structured in a way that it converts, right? You know, we've surveyed franchisees over the last 10 years. So we get intimate insight to people that are looking at brands and then become franchisees. And we then resurvey them to understand what caught their eye. So based on, you know, some of the data polls and surveys, we know that, you know, above the fold is the most important real estate in the industry, right? You need to have, when you look at your franchise development website on your cell phone or above the fold, you need to know within 40 seconds of what your franchise offers. What are the 3 trump cards? What are the 3 whys? And that's super important. Then you need to have a form fill either on the actual hero image or in the video asset, or it needs to be a push out form from the side. Does it not matter? There needs to be up there. There needs to be a phone number in your header so they can call. If you put your website into the mobile version, there needs to be a push to call button. It's all about conversions. And then we also know that you need to have some type of downloadable content or a lead magnet. It does not have to be 20 pages like you talked about earlier. It's actually quite different. It needs to be 5 to 7 pages. It needs to position you as the industry expert and what makes your concept unique, right? Once they download that, that's kind of the victory. We've now captured their information. Below the fold, we want to ensure that you're telling the brand story. Who is the executive team that I'm investing into? Super important. Then your site needs to answer the top 4 or 5 questions your franchisees are asking. We all know they're going to ask what makes you unique, what separates you. You know, then they want to know approximately how much money it's going to cost to invest, and then approximately how much money I can make. They want to know about the validation, right? They want to see successful video. Now, if you don't have franchisees yet, you could use your customer reviews. You can use
Yeah.
third-party validation, right? That's a big part. You need to have some kind of interactive map to show where your franchisees are and where the open white territory space is, so that people know that. And then what we have found, people want to have transparency in your 8 steps of your sales process.
Yeah.
Super important. And then you need to have great video and great imagery that portrays your brand, right? And you could tell the franchise development websites that were created by your son's cousin or your friend's sister-in-law, right? And different than the professional ones. Typically, we believe in a long form homepage that has all that information. That is the money page that the conversions happen. And then all the internal pillar pages are dedicated to SEO and content.
Sounds good, man. Matt, that's exactly what I was thinking about and really aligned with you. We consult about 5 to 10 brands on average a week, right? The first thing I do is to hop onto their website. Then I hop onto their friend dev website.
Yep.
And usually these are the 5 things that are missing on your friend dev website that is going to really help to move the needle when it comes to content and video. Think about this. I don't come to your website because I want to buy a franchise already, right? Very often these potential candidates, they are really just exploring this opportunity. They are there to learn. They're there to get educated about this opportunity. So there are 5 videos that we usually advise our client to have and place it different tabs on the website. So number 1, the founder video, the brand story video. Like, what makes your concept unique? Make it really easy for people to learn, to feel, to hear from the founder, because people don't invest in the logo. They need to know that you are capable in supporting them to be successful, right? So video number 2 would be your key value proposition, right? There are 10 different, 50 different design carpentry concept out there. Like, everybody kind of do the same. Like, what is your story? Like, why should I go to your carpentry or lawn mowing or healthy bowl compared to your competitor? And then the third video that you just mentioned, validation. Nobody want to hear how good your concept is, but they want to hear it from a genuine person who have walked the path and say this has worked for them, right?
Absolutely.
4 out of 5 people don't trust what brands say, but they trust a complete stranger. So we need to get your franchisee validating on behalf of you that they will be a much better salesperson than you are. And then the 5th one, I think I talked about the brand story, talk about the value proposition, talk about the franchisee validation. So the 4th one would be what to expect. You talk about the 8-step system, MJ. We do that a lot with our client, especially important in your drip campaign, right? These candidates, they are just exploring, but they don't know what they are getting themselves into. They're thinking, is there going to be a discovery day tomorrow? Am I talking to the CEO tomorrow? Like, can I buy this already? So really painting a good picture of, we're just having this conversation to start with. Then the next step is this. Then I'm going to connect you with my VP of real estate, and we're going to talk about site selection. Then we'll talk about what does training and support look like. And then slowly we will then have a discovery day. So really painting a clear picture of what that 8 steps look like really help to prepare your candidate better and to align the expectation. Yeah. The last video that you must have in your franchise website, in your drip campaign, is to talk about support, training and support. It sounds like no-brainer, but honestly, it's so critical. Because if I don't receive any support, I might as well spend this $500K and start up my own business anyway. Why do I want to buy a franchise, right? So if I'm not leveraging marketing, not leveraging your brand, not leveraging whatever that you have built out, as part of the franchise, then there's nothing in it for me. So the training and the support video is so important to show the candidate that this is backed by a big group of solid brand, that they are able to support me from day 1 onboarding, day 30, 3 years on, and 10 years on, that you're not just not going to leave me in the dark after I pay my franchise fee and get the location open. So 5 video, this would be the key 5 video that you should have if you are selling franchises and not having this video in your website. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the point number 2. MJ, we talked about the website. Point number 2, I actually want to talk about content, but I'd love to hear from you too. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's heard probably in the call, content is king, but content really is king. Content is, over the last, we'll call it 3.5, 4 years, has become more valuable and more real estate than most brands probably give it credit for, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's, not just in how the content of your franchise development website is written, right? Part of what we have found is that on those monthly franchise sales calls with our clients, understanding what objections, but really understanding what is driving those conversations through the 8 steps of the sales process, and pulling out major topics and developing internal pages, right? Like one of it, as brands grow, and I, when we do assessments and I, talk to, brands every day of the year, we find that they're looking to attract and they want to work with multi-unit franchisees. But if you look at their franchise development website, there's no mention of attraction or benefits of ownership to a multi-unit franchisee operator, right? So I think that's a big part, is helping to identify, who you're trying to go after, who you're trying to attract, and develop content, right? Content, again, is like the law of attraction. The more you write about it, the more you're going to draw back from it from the search engine. Then there are monthly blogs. Monthly blogs are a really huge indicator of SEO success. You're introducing new, valuable content to the website on a monthly basis that is feeding the algorithm's need for search engine optimization.
Right.
Then there's more than just blogs. There are what we call long form articles. Now, these long form articles, they look like what a media placement would look like, but it's typically done either through a content writer that's just writing about the brand, about the needs, about the wants, about the whys. But a lot of times I tell my established clients that you can use the long form content almost kind of as a media piece, right? You could have, Claudia, me and you right now could go back and forth and interview each other, develop that interview style on,
Right.
a PDF, upload it to your franchise development website, and voila, you got yourself a media placement. It just won't have the action of a tier 1 or tier 3 media placement from an organic standpoint, but it's still a validator. And when people are searching your brand, they're still going to come across that long form article, and they're going to perceive it as validation, as a piece of content, right? Then, you have to look at, content in the form of these downloadable piece of contents, these, lead magnets that can be placed across your entire site. You could have a portfolio of these best practices and case studies within your franchise development website. You could have it gated so that you get their information. You could give it out freely. That's really the prerogative of each strategy for each brand. But when you start looking at content, and you've sat in my sessions, I kind of compare it to the indoor plumbing analogy, where if you're pushing out content through your franchise development blog, you need to have that same content needs to be pushed to your LinkedIn company page. And then the executives, franchisees, everyone that's working at that brand needs to then share it from the company page to their personal LinkedIn page. That's called the, social media breadcrumb strategy.
Right.
But you still need to then take what we consider to be, a very valuable downloadable piece of content and post it to your consumer facing Facebook page and post it. And then you boost it, kind of like a help wanted sign, but a help looking for a franchisee sign. And you put $5 to maybe $20 a month in boosted ad spend to it. And you're going to generate leads through it. Every time you have a media placement, it's got to be shared across all social media. Every time you get a franchise development blog, it needs to be shared across all your franchise or all your social media channels. And then writing additional content, like, best practice is typically 1 to 2 blogs per month to help your organic reach. But
Yeah.
there are brands that are aggressive, that have the budget, that we run anywhere between 4 to 6 monthly blogs for, and their outcomes and results of their search and leads. Remember, digital advertising on average is going to be a 1.5 to 2% close ratio. For organic SEO, for most of our established and bigger brands, SEO is going to be a 3.5 to 5% close ratio. So more SEO
Pretty good.
leads, you can generate, and really it's redirecting. There are people out there searching for everyone's brands on this call. The question is, do you have a good enough SEO team to redirect that search to your Fran Dev website and have a good enough website to convert it, or does your competitor have a better team? That's the question that every franchisor, every CMO, every director of franchising needs to ask themselves. Because
I think an SEO is really a game that everybody is trying to figure out. Like, it's ever changing. It's like it's such a deep ocean that you got to keep digging into. I really like that you're talking about the long form content. This stuff is it's free. It's on your website, right? But it also helps to really drive those SEO whenever people are searching, rather than paying keyword search.
It's a combination of everything, and when we do our monthly calls with our clients, as we start to see digital ads, come in, we have the reporting capability to see what keywords are coming from each ad. So as soon as we start to find where those keywords are in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th stage, 8th stage of their sales process, we move those over to our organic and content team, so that we can start to optimize the site around those intent to buy keywords. Eventually, when we pin them to the first page, we pull that keyword off of digital advertising and find new keywords to optimize for traffic to the top end.
Right. So when it comes to content, I want to speak this piece, not because we're a video production company. It's also where we spend as a company. It's because content is what really going to help to move the needle for any organizations going to 2025. So I slice this into 5 different pieces here. I know a lot of brands on this call today, you are probably 50-50, even some are 60-40 with broker and consultant, right? We get a lot of clients saying that they want to pull back from this relationship a little bit going into future year. But think about that. This relationship is not really fruitful. It's also depending on what you feed to the consultant and what content you are giving the broker to support them to represent your brand, to talk to their candidates so that they feel inspired and curious and interested to talk to you about. So we also build like whole kind of little bite-sized video series to help brands to educate broker about their opportunity, and it has shown a lot of success. So broker is number 1. If you are looking to build out your content for 2025, that's what we recommend, right? So broker, organic. So more effort pouring into content, be it you were talking about paid ads or organic, you will need video in your drip campaign, on your one-on-one text, on your sales call, Zoom call. Use video in your sales cycle is going to really add more depth to your conversation, different perspective, get people open up and interested to have a further conversation with you. The third piece is pay advertising, right? I know that everybody already knows the importance of targeted advertising for your ideal ICP, but really use video rather than static image is what we are really advising going forward for all your pay ads. And then number 4, in your sales call, do you watch a video with your candidate? That if you're not doing that already, think about that, right? So when you have a candidate on a discovery call with you, there's no better time to get your CEO video showing up on screen and watch it together, because your CEO can't be on your discovery call every single time, right? But they need to know that this is a sound opportunity for me. So this video is going to aim to help you to automate some of these processes, but help you to save time, but also not reduce your drop-off rate, because the more education, more relevant material that you serve them in your sales cycle at the get-go really help to keep a lead interested and move down the funnel with you. Number 5 is the SEO optimization that we really just talked about. I love the idea from MJ that talks about blog post, long form article really going to help with the SEO. Do you know that video on your websites is going to transcribe all of those words that we are talking right now? If you place it on your website, it's actually going to help you with your SEO optimization also. Just 2 weeks ago, we had, no, actually a month ago when we had our webinar with Senior Helper last month, and they were saying placing those video on their website after filming with us has helped them to get much more leads form fill up on their website. So if you're interested to learn about that case study and watch that video, send me an email after. I will send it right to you. All right, MJ, anything to top out in terms of content as a second point?
No, I mean, I think we've kind of hit it on the head. I mean, content, if you think you've had enough, you need to double it. I mean, I think the 2025 mantra, you know, it's about video, right? Video gets placed into every different segment of marketing, every segment of the franchise standpoint, on, you know, both the consumer side, right? You know, of customer validation, on the franchise developments, the day in the life of a franchisee, the founder video, successful franchisee videos, your second step of the sales process and the text automation piece that goes out with the video. The nurturing campaigns are going to have different video series, like you said. And, you know, for most people don't know that, you know, YouTube is this really small. Oh, that's right. They're the second largest search engine in the world, YouTube. So video is a huge opportunity, not only to optimize your franchise development website, but those individual videos get optimized, have separate optimization campaigns as well, that obviously help drive those videos to the top of the search when people are ultimately, when they get done talking to your initial call with your franchise development sales team or come across your brand, they're going to Google your brand name. They're going to Google the owner's name. And so that's where that third party, you know, or really that validation from third party. We obviously at TopFire, you know, we have a department dedicated to PR. PR is another incredible content form. Those media placements on the validation of successful growth of the brand, successful growth of franchisees is second to none. And it all comes back to that integrated digital SEO growth. You know, PR, videos, content, all that does, guys, is supercharge your organic SEO efforts. In creating more visibility, higher Google quality score, higher domain strength, and higher quality leads.
Okay, MJ, we spent so much time talking about how critical is your messaging and narrative on the website, and double your content already if you think you have enough for 2025. We are slightly over, but I think our audience is not going to leave until we talk about what is the number 3 item we must have on the budget item for 2025. Let's wrap it around. Have a quick 1 minute about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, you're looking at, you know, your franchise development website is by far your foundation. It needs to be, it's like a child, love and care, and you got to give it love and sun. And the second, I think we talked about, you know, is videos, right? Videos is a huge play. I think third is really content that we've kind of talked about. But I'm going to go back to, you know, really what kind of puts us all together. And it, you know, I sit down with brands every day and talk to them. I'm at pretty much every conference that I speak at and talk to everyone about. I think it's the integration between your marketing and sales team that play a huge role. And at least that's what I have found out to be in the last 15 years of being in franchising. And, you know, obviously in being mentored by the iFranchise Group, the Mark Sieberts and the Dave Hoods of the world, it's really truly understanding how, you know, the franchise development sales team needs to take a play from the marketing side, and the marketing needs to understand what the franchise sales team needs. And I think that I think most brands, one or two are either outsourced or they might be internal, but I don't think they necessarily play very well together. And I think that's a big part, and the analytical stuff. I know I'm a data guy because that's where I came from in my 32 years of digital marketing. But I think analytical information is past data predicts future results. If you don't know where your cost of a lead is, if you don't know where your leads are coming from, if you don't know that 1 to 2% of all your fran dev leads are coming from your franchisee location pages, you got to start paying attention to the data and the reporting. you got to start having very in-depth conversations with your internal or external marketing agencies about this information.
Yeah.
It could be the difference between paying $175 a lead or paying $40 for the same qualified lead. That's a huge discrepancy that we see every day. I just talked to a brand, I won't name it out loud. Most likely they're probably on the call because they're a big established legacy brand. I found out that they were spending close to $6,000 a month in digital Fran Dev advertising, and their expectation was only 30 leads a month. And I was blown away by that.
Right.
And so I think those are part of those conversations that you need to have.
Yeah. I think if we can have a camera for everybody to turn on today, everybody will be nodding their heads away. Yeah. Of all the conversation I'm having with so much brands so far, I am so shocked by how silo Fran Dev department works compared to the marketing team. I couldn't agree more with that, Matt. So we'll wrap that around 2025. If you want to have successful qualified leads in your pipeline, 3 main things that you really want to spend on is number 1, invest on your Fran Dev website. You might not really need to spend a lot of money on it. You just need to have a simple, clarified message narrative of what you are aiming your candidate looking to achieve from their website, right? Number 2, invest in video. Video is going to open up a lot more doors for you. We as a company, as a video company, we are going to 3x, 4x that going into 2025 because we've tried that really hard this year and we have seen how it has helped us with getting to where we want to be this year. And then number 3 is content.
Yeah.
Work on your content.
I'll say content/SEO.
Right. Content/SEO. Sounds good, everybody. Thank you for your time. Today, I am going to have a quick wrap around. We didn't have a lot of great, so we didn't manage to get through all of that, but we will have to make do with what we have today. While MJ was talking about lead magnet and content, I want to just give everyone a little sneak peek that we are launching an ebook very quickly, end of this week. So be on the lookout. Send me an email if you want to learn all things about franchise development, franchise marketing into 2025. You are in it for a treat. We've spent maybe 300 hours on producing that. Lastly, you can find MJ on his LinkedIn, Matthew, Jonas. You can scan my QR code here if you'd like to have a conversation about your brand, planning about 2025. Love to have a conversation. Stay tuned for an email from me after this. If you'd like to have a copy of this session today and share it with your colleagues and your leadership team, more than happy to share that with you. We will be reaching out after the new year and we will be sharing with you the next webinar topic. But I will give you a little sneak peek now. It's all about video content strategy for 2025. Everything you need to be successful in franchise development. Thank you for your time today. Happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you for joining us live.
Yeah.